Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru. Hello.
And folks, today we are back with some more of our monthly tournament in rank. We are in Kositritsa today. Who do we have and what are they bringing?
On left-hand side in blue, we have AlphaDog AI testing playing 20th Panzer with a balanced income. Right-hand side in red, we've Gonzo playing the third of VDV, also with a balanced income.
It's nice to see a balance. I think that all things should be balanced as all things should be, and having a nice balanced diet, a nice balanced army. What do you expect between these two balanced boys?
It's to be quite an interesting matchup, I think. As we've seen last time with this map, it's a very CQC focused map, but third VDV can definitely make it work with just how CQC focused and narrow-minded it is in that regard. I'm curious to see how 20th Panzer does. It's not the best in close CQC fights, so it does have a good amount of medium tank. But, yeah, I'm honestly quite interested to see just how 20th Panzer will fare up in this matchup.
I am certainly fascinated by this Desantniki Maxim play in the center. I don't really know how I feel about it.
I think just trying to secure enough firepower, to ward off anything.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, usually we kind of tend to see these very rush-heavy, we're going to go and pound the middle open as quickly as we can. But it's a much more sedate opening from both sides. Sure, we have troops trooping to the front, Desantniki with DTs, P-Grants with Panzerfausts. But right now, we're finally getting the first shots between MG42, who's just getting shellacked by the Maxim.
Yeah, I mean, that Desantniki DT squad doesn't look that intimidating, but 3 DT machine guns is nasty work. It's the ultimate Bren group.
Oh, Bren groups. Oh, that's a painful memory right about now.
Or defense groups now, as they call them. Not as cool.
There's a very, very different discussion that we're having there when we're having branding issues for our Bren groups.
Yeah.
Now, to the north, we are going to see Desantniki Razvedkas, backed up by some Komratis, Zapiris, and Rocks. There's a rather actually hefty, beefy, borscht-filled Russian attack force going on in. I don't know really what my thought on the prognosis for this is going to be. I think theoretically it should be pretty good.
Yeah, because essentially Gonzo's playing the infantry really how the top tier players play infantry, and that is you kind of keep them in a platoon. You have the leader, a bunch of support units backing them up, and with AlphaDog's infantry all spread out, Gonzo can just pick them off one at a time. And yeah, he should be able to clear a pretty good path through the forest.
Well, the other thing too is that when the Razvedkas, they do one of the few Russian units earlier here that do have radios. So if we do see any mortars, those guys would be quite good.
Indeed. Because those Russian mortars, for the third VDV, their mortars do have radios, which is quite a nice trait.
Isn't the VDV? No, it's not a reserve army, but I was trying to think of the VDV.
It's paratroopers.
Thank you. I was really quite confused for a second. My Russian's a little bit weak. So I was like, how the heck do those guys get to have radios? I suppose it kind of makes sense. If you get to, leap, and I put that in air quotes, no pun intended.
Or descent.
Yes, but dropping off of an airplane wing. I mean, that's got to be worth a radio or two.
Yeah.
But the Razvedkas are going to get churned up a little bit by Walking Point, but those Papa Shaws, though, they are going to still be pretty good. Yeah,
and honestly, just descent spam up north would really rogue runs us in this map. It's cheap 15.8 man SG teams, which is really a core third VDV. So, yeah, honestly, I think if Gonzo does play heavy up north, it'd be good in that regard. But as we've mentioned before, the northern side is not heavy in regards to flags, so you can get a lot of territory, but not a whole lot of point.
But I think the thing I'm wondering here, though, too, is you see where the Strumafiki and the rocks are right there?
Yes.
If they go to a smidge north, if you're able somehow to get any kind of weaponry in there, toss, I don't know, an MG or something right there, that's an effective blocking force for a bit. And if nothing else, at least maybe you can kind of restrict any kind of flag play. You can push further south and use that arterial.
Yeah. It definitely does open up opportunities if you do clear up the north. Looking down south, actually seen a little bit of a push here from Gonzo, pushing back the Pioneer SVTs and securing that flag.
But it is still only 12-12. IG-18, the little brother, of course, of the IG-33s that we saw on Tuesday, to such devastating effect, not to be outdone, are picking off those Russians as they fall back across the open fields.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is going to be one of the problems for the 3rd VDV, is there's not a whole lot of tanks or long-range capabilities. It's going to rely much more on the aircraft, such as IL-2 bombing runs.
Which I completely missed. I was too busy watching the fact that there's this Valentine tank up top, and Thessaloniki DTs are going to link back up.
Then I think we're pretty much
attacking
sunk,
force.
and we might as well just go ahead and start over. And I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird front line up north. They got this narrow corridor that the VDV have managed to broken on through, because there's still infantry all around the place from the German side.
Yes, there are, and in this, I'm not going to say it feels like a bridge too far. I know it's on the top of my mind because you and I have been talking about Arnhem a little bit offline here, but it does kind of feel like that, where we have this one teeny tiny kind of reinforcement point, and I don't know if they can necessarily hold it.
Yeah, I mean, the Russian infantry in this case are pretty damn good. AlphaDog is mainly just throwing Panzer Grenadiers into a QC fight, which isn't going to work all that well against Sturmovikis.
No, but the numbers of them, I think, might be the thing that kind of wins the day, potentially, for him.
Yeah, it's got them in the big battle group in a platoon, so to speak, and a lot of the Russian infantry are spread out.
Yes, it is now the German turn to kind of go back through, be picking off, isolated squads hither and thither and yon.
But yeah, I think Gonzo's just going to have to start playing some partisan tactics. Because even though he may lose control of the north, even though he's actually technically gaining it, not technically, he is literally gaining control of north. If he can just scatter his infantry all over the forest here and just do an ambush here and there, he can prove to be a huge pain in the ass.
And there's one thing that people can learn how to be very easily. It's a pain in the ass. So
Yeah.
Checking back into the middle, there still is the power group of Thessaloniki Maxims. Now there's a couple of Zis guns in there as well, giving some close fire support. And honestly, support guns might be here for the win. They're forcing back the German infantry without too much, really, fanfare.
Yeah, working out really well here in the town. I'm actually quite surprised I haven't seen anything heavier in this town per se. This is usually another, key point of contention on this map. But no, it's just, a small little push here from a single Decisive to, see if he can do anything. Probably not, as a stern pioneer on the other end of that forest, which would gladly say hello with a flamethrower.
I think he's just looking to ignite the spark of friendship. I think that's the important part here.
It's all about first impressions.
It is. You want to have a warm reception.
Yeah.
Stoke the fires of friendship. And apparently Thessaloniki kind of didn't descend down to that particular level of camaraderie, and he's pulling back outside of those trees without too much fanfare himself.
Yeah. Smart move. Up north, AlphaDog has managed to secure the flag and kind of the forest back under his control, but we still do have this small little strike group behind enemy lines. Gonna be causing a bit of havoc. If he can get a PTRS on the road, he could definitely get some sneaky snipes.
Well, the funny thing about this is that, they're paratroopers. They're meant to be surrounded.
Yes. I think you have a point there, Colin. I can't argue with that.
That's good. I hate to argue in front of the kids. So
yeah.
In the meantime, the northern town is firmly within inside German control. Middle, it's still a tale of two cities over here in the center. Nothing too crazy there. And I can't help but feel, looking at the just lack of armored firepower from the Germans, it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to use armor on this map.
No, especially the German T-34s and the Panzer IIIs are pretty good, but the Panzer IVs, Yeah, it's just kind of... the Panzer IVGs actually aren't that bad because they're a bit cheaper compared to the Hate's counterpart. Yes, they have worse armor, but in a knife fight, armor doesn't really matter all that much.
That's true. That is certainly true. One thing we failed to notice until just now, 120 mils are hitting the field, and they are just... They actually might force the town over here for Gonzo.
Yeah, it's actually going to be a great amount of artillery fire support. Once again, having the radios is going to be a pretty big boon, and maybe AlphaDog might want to get. Does he have more? Yes, he does have more to half tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to have more to half tracks, Khan. You know, if the
absolutely.
Germans built more to half tracks, they would have run the war.
Exactly.
That's one thing that was just keeping them back.
That's true, as well as not using those mole shells that we saw on Tuesday.
Yes.
But Northern Town is apparently throwing up the white smoke, if nothing else. So they're going to go be taking that town very, very easily.
Yeah, just that artillery support has proven to be such a huge boon here for Gonzo. Just the smoke and fire, especially in the Swords infantry. This artillery is going to work really well against them.
I will say I don't relish being those guys walking through that town right now because I feel like there's a health hazard. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what it is up in Canada, but I know like OSHA's gonna have a field day on this one.
To be fair, I think there's a lot more imperative health hazards on the Eastern Front at this point in time.
You're right. You're right. That ice will kill you.
Yeah, such as lack of proper eye protection within tank. You know, I reported them to Papa Stalin, but I haven't got a report back yet. They told me to like meet him at some sort of gulag in Siberia to talk about it further. So I'll tell you about how that goes on Friday.
There's a video log that shows up, and it's you looking a little bit bedraggled. And folks, the NKVD treats me real well here. I love Big Brother.
Yes.
But here we are. I mean, the Soviet infantry is not dead yet, but you know it's
all
close.
over the place.
It's close. It really is all over the place, isn't it? We have the Shermaviki squads kind of running point for the flamethrower troops. They still have enough TNT to blow up a small city. The Decisive DTs are kind of sitting back in defense, as they pretty much should, in my mind. And really, for lack of a better word, though, one thing that's desperately holding them back is that they don't have a whole lot of AT, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, and Gonzo's still doing a good job of playing partisan tactics behind enemy lines. His strike group has taken some casualties, but he was holding a decent amount of territory for a decent amount of time. But yeah, it's just kind of a mess up here up north. It does seem like AlphaDog is able to regain a bit of territory.
Well, not to be outdone, he is bringing in 4 more squads of flamethrowers, so he's not quite content to give up just yet. And the Valentine is up at the front.
Oh yes.
Glory be to you, sir.
What a great idea, bringing in the Valentine tank into an infantry fight. I mean, I guess to be fair, it's an infantry support tank.
Yes, as in infantry can lean against it when they're tired, but that's not really what I want in the front lines.
I could also say infantry could ride on top of it, but it's probably just faster to walk.
It's when the infantry are sleeping. It's a nice slow thing so that we don't wake up. But mortar half-tracks actually are now hitting the field over here for the Germans as well. So the 120s and the 81s are just firing back and forth, and it's 200 millimeters of just HE going in every direction. Unfortunately, no one seems to be hitting the right zip code. So mortars aren't doing much.
No, it's just kind of blowing up a forest. But yeah, I feel like this is really going to come down to artillery. So it's just a lot of, I mean, all the focus is up north. It's all going to be about the infantry play. So just who is going to be able to effectively use their artillery to beat out the infantry is going to come out on top. And it just feels like a mess up north, which is, you know, to be fair, it's kind of how the north goes. The road system's terrible. It's a bunch of forests. The infantry's all spread out.
Are you still talking about the game? Because right now I had a flashback to, like, you know, the last winter in New Jersey. So
yeah, too.
But mortars in the meantime. So actually, all those rocks reinforcements. I mean, that is apparently the rock that Gonzo wants his force to be steadied by, because those guys are just charging forward, hell bent for leather, and they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, Gonzo does manage to get these good initial pushes.
Wait. I'm sorry. The girl just nuked its own pioneer squad. I'm sorry. Please continue.
I just saw that too. What the? Must have been very angry. Oh, he's just firing. Oh, he's fire position. Huh.
Well,
Weird.
that was a curious decision there.
Maybe it's being a blocking detachment?
Yeah, but I didn't think they made vehicles that stupid. Like, the machine spirit doesn't fire on its own troops.
Yeah, he's doing more fire positioning in that forest. He's getting a bit freaked out.
Actually, you know what it is? I think he's trying to cut his way through the forest. It's like the Age of Empires 2 thing with the siege onagers.
It's just getting the villagers.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh god. Yeah, up north we're just seeing, it's this infantry fight. I don't know what to say. It's infantry fights all over the place. In the forest, there's some off-map artillery, which is going to blow up that little northern village section, yeah. Yeah, it's just infantry fights and lots of flame.
Well, the kind of really amusing thing is, I don't think a single foot of ground has changed down south, I think, in literally the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, south is boring and scary. It's open fields and farms, and everyone wants to,
Yeah, but I say
some flame
south.
in the forest.
I say south, and that's just south of where the artillery barrage is going to fall. Everything else from here is just not moved.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's like really just extreme far north, which I find hilarious. Because there's no flags up here.
No.
But it's every single map con, every single cast, people are afraid of attacking in the open in Steel Division. It's a phobia, it's agrophobia, right? Everyone wants to be in the close, safe bosom of forest or town.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You call it agoraphobia. I think agrophobia, like you said initially, I think that fits it better. They are afraid of actually aggroing anybody. So,
yes.
And actually, wait a second. IL-2's over here in B. No, this isn't the heavier payload in B, is it? No, it's just the ground attack planes.
Yep, anti-tank runs, which aren't going to be quite useful because there's frankly not a whole lot to ground attack to begin with.
Yeah.
Just some cheap Panzer IVs and Panzer T-34s.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a red German tank.
Now, we are going to see some very, very tentative pushes over here, and I say very tentative because they show up Panzerfausts, and Lord knows the Panzerfaust is coming up, and the first guy died.
Yep.
And there's going to be a second Panzerfaust here any second, and the second guy died, and thus went the great tank attack of the 17th minute.
Yeah. Really could have used some infantry to back him up in that one.
Well, the funny thing is he's bringing in another 5 squads of infantry, but are they going anywhere near that? Nope. Nope. Because why would you go there?
No. It's all about the forest, Khan.
Yeah.
Or what's going to be left of the forest when the match is over.
Well, that northern town's not there anymore. I mean, like the property values have fallen with most of the foundations.
Yeah. We might be able to afford a house now.
Dude, I am waiting for a housing bubble. That's all I can say.
Same.
Oh, yeah. Looking in the meantime, Pigran's going actually potentially down south. Could we see a potential push in the south?
Whoa, that's not allowed. This is a north-only map.
Exactly.
You can't do this.
Well, I think at least our friends in the south be okay watching this because it's the north that's burning this time as opposed to anything else.
I'm gonna bomb the hell out of the Stalemate.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, one very good hit.
A single good hit. I was actually looking back at the town fight because the town fight is not quite heating up, but I'm pretty sure there's a soft potential for it because we're starting to see more and more of these P3Ls being moved on in, and these guys are actually quite scary.
Yeah, they're honestly pretty good CG tanks. They got a high veterancy, a pretty good gun for dealing with medium tanks at close range, and decent fire support for 2 MGs. And not only 40 points.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're
really good for what they are.
So, Pigran DPs, I think, are going to be able to push back the Sturmoviki. They're going to take some hefty losses to do it, but they're going to push them back.
Yeah.
The next artillery strike is going after that town, which is a curious decision because I don't see any counter push happening there. I would have much rather dropped an arty party over the Thessaloniki DT party to the northeast. But
yeah,
each their own, I suppose.
Yeah, because it's that northern. But I guess he's getting a little bit too danger close right now. But yeah, you blow up the Thessaloniki up north. Once you blow them up, you follow up with the infantry and force them all to surrender.
So if you're looking up right now, the 120 mils are just killing any chance he's got if I'm actually making it further forwards.
Yeah.
Oop, that was another
lot of
building going
artillery.
down. But here we are. I mean, and that's kind of so far the name of the game here. Ooh, no PTRSs to the north, but we are going to see a Shumbaviki, I think, get really roasty-toasty with at least one of these vehicles coming on through.
Oh, yeah. Great little ambush position there. Gets one. Flames the second, but really get the kill. Ah, bloody hell. Bloody hell. That's some good partisan tactics, right? Yeah. But, you know, Gonzo still has that +1. He's been slowly bleeding out AlphaDog. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. AlphaDog needs to think about... I mean, look, you know what? One flag those Thermofikis have captured?
Yes.
Like down south?
Yes.
You got like a whole German battle group here ready to go, but they just haven't been given the order yet.
Well, in the meantime, I think it's just because A-Dog over here just continues to fixate on, he's attacking me here, therefore I must port my attention here.
Yeah, classic tunnel vision.
Yes, it is, and it's such a hard thing to do across any strategy game whatsoever, and I really do have to commend the fact that A-Dog is at least pushing troops to the south for the attack, even if we haven't quite gotten there just yet. And indeed, I think maybe this is what he was waiting on. The BF-109 is going in after this. Yep, there we go.
Because as we can see, just looking at the map from a larger picture, the southern central position of the open field, it's pretty barren, from Gonzo. And this is such a resource-rich location in regards to flags. And 20th Panzer definitely has the Panzer advantage against 3rd VDV. If there's a push here of some Panzergren, some Panzer Force, a bit of recon, sprinkle in some artillery half-tracks, and he could make a really good push here and divert a lot of attention from Gonzo and gain some momentum.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I will say, this town is once again engulfed in smoke, which is both mildly amusing and still, again, quite terrifying.
Yeah, especially when there's a bunch of angry Russians with Pippa shahs.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Grill goes down. Guys, that's why you always change out your gas tanks, because you don't want the Desantnikis to start throwing heat grenades at you.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, these guys just continue to charge on forwards.
Yeah. It's an effective push here from Gonzo. Just throwing in the Desantniki, and by God, you can do that because they are only 15 points for 8 SMGs. They are extremely cost effective.
They're cheaper than other Machikis, and they are exactly the same thing.
Yep, the same price of SS trooping.
And they actually can stand in a firing line without actually running.
Yeah, and they have the Raider tray and anti-tank grenade.
Raider tray. Yeah, there they are. Oops. I'm so used to actually seeing like the Red Storm mod where everything has a trait. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think another barrage coming here to the northern side. What's that? The diameter on 132. Okay. So, guys, prepare to see a stun push more than an actual kill push on this one. I think he's just trying to pick up maybe a P3 or 2.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, really just as expected now, all of the fancy CQC troops from AlphaDog have been killed. Gonzo is just clearing up the northern side now, slowly but surely.
And yeah, he's not even waiting for the artillery barrage to fall. He's already just kind of engaging them.
Yeah. Oh, it's a smoke.
Ooh.
Ah, that's good.
That's actually really good. I like that even better than having a legit push. And honestly, A-Dog, right call. This is the right call. Smoke's happening. My armored fighting vehicles are not meant to be fighting in smoke. I've seen this movie.
The eerie music starts playing. It's like, Hans, you better get out of here.
Exactly. At this point, my guys start getting picked off by a man dressed as a bat or something. Like this is not the way you want to be going.
A dude with a triangle forehead and a big sword just pops out of nowhere.
We're going there. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. You know, Triangle Man, everyone's favorite. You know, sword-wielding antagonist.
That's true. Of course, at that point, I think if Mila Jovanovic is contractually obligated to be in the same scene. You're going Silent Hill, aren't you?
Yes.
I was going, for some reason I went Resident Evil on that one. I feel very, very
You
ashamed
did.
of myself.
I was like, where are we going with that? That's more of like a T-Tyrant or Mr. X or, the best one, Nemesis.
Did they also bring in a ridiculous triangle head at some point?
I don't...
Someone in the comments, please help me out.
Yeah.
There's got to be at least one of those ridiculous movies, I know for sure. I stopped watching it, but I will say I clicked through one. In any case, we are going to see IL-2s stepping into attack runs over here in the central position, which is marginally funny because why attack here when there's so much stuff to attack in the north?
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I think he's just tired of having these guys on his front lawn. He's killed at the Befehle Führer over here too. But BF-109s as well as the 88s and the 37 mils, I would be surprised if both of these guys make it out. Heck, I'd be surprised if either of them makes it out.
See how it goes.
They are the concrete attackers. Wait, is there... And the IL-2's coming in for... Oh no, the IL-2's engaged in the BF-109. That's one. The landing gear's been damaged naturally, because that's the IL-2.
Yeah. How is he going to land now? Oh, it fixed.
Oh, he fixed it?
Yeah, it's like no longer here. Must have just hit it with a hammer in mid-flight. That's what I would do.
I am somehow endlessly happy that you are not my airline pilot sometimes.
Yeah. We're gonna do the loop-de-loop, right? Right now. Hold on to your seats.
This is your captain speaking, ladies and gentlemen. Please feel free to engage with the barf bags in the seat in front of you.
Yeah. I played Star Fox, know what I'm doing.
Exactly, do a barrel roll. Right, Roo, what are you doing? The 37 mil in the meantime, engaging in his other role, which is suppressing infantry from a way too close range, from all things considered. And Gonzo dropping the last smoke or last fire over here. This P3N should be dead pretty much either way.
Yeah, it's really starting to seem like a losing battle up north over AlphaDog. He's slowly getting pushed back into these small little pockets. He does have the heavy artillery, such as the Railframen, to back him up, but Gonzo's infantry is pretty spread out right now, so it's not going to do that much damage.
True. Now, the Railframen did kind of waste its first barrage here. I understand why he put it in the location. I think he didn't quite have the eyes that he needed, though, to see a more effective position for it.
Yeah. It honestly feels like pretty thematic. Like, Germans are slowly getting pushed back from the Russians, who are attacking from all angles, using smoke and fire to push them back, and, so there's a few crappy tanks holding the line.
Well, and then you have to use your term here that you've been so keen. You have these partisan tactics, and now we have peak runs that are running east. Oh my gosh, that's painful to watch when the retreat path always happens.
Yeah. Yeah, Gonzo's getting some good encirclements. He should be playing hard to find 4.
Yeah, but his soft attack, I think, is pretty high. His hard attack isn't always the best. So that's pretty much the issue there.
Yeah, and he's not building those 40 Rift divisions. What the hell, man?
Dude, if you're a German division in this, that's what you're trying to do. I want that 40 width every single time. Another Maxim shove over here in the central position. So again, guys, this is not made to take ground. This is meant to just kind of first throw bodies in the front lines, just to at least put a nice amount of suppression out there.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes right down to it, I feel like this might be a hot take, but I feel like the Desantniki Maxim might be better than Peak-Run Squad, pound for pound.
Yeah, the Raider trait is pretty good in the longer range. Because the Raider trait... Oh, it's only stealth bonus, it's not a Red Storm.
Yeah.
But that's like, entrenched Maxims, entrenched machine guns in general are quite nasty.
Absolutely. Now, we actually are going to have a nice Venn diagram of artillery strikes to the north, which I find charming. Like, this is how life should be. Artillery barrages holding hands. 88 millimeters being taken out by mortars. It's the whole 9 yards, really.
Yeah, and if you're in the center of that Venn diagram, it means you're properly and utterly buggered.
It's true. It's very true. But I'm guessing that Gonzo is dropping more smoke. Please prove me right. Yep, smoking it up.
Yep.
There we go. And Peakrens, as you suspect, decide to run the other direction. And Nikis are going to get pounded by artillery here. You're noticing that AlphaDog is not going for any kind of smoke whatsoever, which is a very curious dichotomy between the two.
Yeah, I think AlphaDog, he doesn't really want to be using smoke. He needs to catch Gonzo out in the open because his infantry doesn't really have that CQC firepower. While with 3rd VDV, it's really just SMG spam. It's the entire division. So you have to make good use of the smoke, and Gonzo's been doing that phenomenally, I have to say.
I agree.
He's been using his infantry fantastically up north in these like really good pushes.
You know, it's funny to watch a munitions truck reload a scout car's machine gun ammo because you're thinking to yourself, that could have been rockets.
Yeah.
That could
It's
have
like really the back of German supply trucks in this game is just a replicator. They only have like so much fuel.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like playing Prey.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We just slap all the things into the recycler.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I loved doing that during that game.
Mm-hmm.
There are many things
It's
about the game I was frustrated, but yeah, you're right. It was very satisfying.
And we're never gonna get a sequel. God damn it.
No. Last artillery barrage, I think, from that 220 is getting dropped here right now. We are going to see the rising Crimson Tide, though, moving further and further forwards. And with a fresh wave being brought on in as well. One thing we've seen a ton of this week has just been Soviet just wave tactics consistently. And you gotta love them.
Yeah. I mean, especially 3rd VDV, they work really well just thanks to that very cheap infantry. And it's definitely a map which complements him quite well in that regard.
True. Germans, in the meantime, more grills, bringing in Flak 43, more Pigrens being brought to the front. You know, a piece of me wonders, would it have been better for the 20th Panzer to start sweeping around the southern flank?
Yeah, the really have been pushing heavier over here sooner. I mean, we're actually seeing down south, they've, one grill and there's a few Panzergrens have dug a decent hole into the southern flank. If he was to put a bit more of a pressure down here, some Panzer IV slapping cement here to stop those IL-2s from doing too much, you get a pretty good foothold into that little complex, so to speak.
True.
Like I said, resource-rich area in regards to flag.
True. I've actually been surprised by how effective the 120s have been. First of all, I love seeing the 120s. These are the guys that, I always remember them from Company of Heroes where they're bringing them around on a hand cart because they're just so flippin' huge. But they have been as effective as any kind of big bore artillery piece, I would argue, in this match.
Yeah, it's all because of that radio trait, man. It goes a long way, especially when you're trying to shoot long range.
Well, let's not forget, too, there's been a lot of usage of smoke in this match.
Yeah.
A lot of smoking.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go to Papa Stalin about those safety complaints. I'm not pleased with this at all, especially in 2021.
You know what? I'm just gonna say smoking if you got them, but if you run out, you run out. So,
yeah.
In the meantime, in no way does Kong endorse smoking. But in the meantime, we have the last final rounds are starting to drop over here from the mortars, and I feel like this is the swan song over here for AlphaDog. He is been getting hammered here.
Yeah, it's very thematic for 20th Panzer as well. It's the whole history of that division being surrounded at one place in Russia, which I forget the name of because it's a whole campaign dedicated towards that. It's just been a slow losing retreat this entire time.
I prefer to think of it as a stubborn withdrawal, but sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's going to be very stubborn with that Wolfram and firing off again, but once again, not going to do all that much, I think. Maybe. SSCD's mad doesn't need keys, but they're not that expensive.
No, and congratulations. At this point, you've just used a ridiculous amount of munitions on suppressing and killing, 2 squads.
Yeah. 30 points.
Yeah. 30 points in munitions and downtime. Again, the reloading speed for these guys is very slow.
Yeah, you really got to make those artillery barrages count.
But with that kind of in mind, I mean, the 20th Panzer, I think, lost on this map because you didn't play as a 20th Panzer. You played it as an infantry division that didn't have the right infantry to back this up.
as we saw early on, he did well, and he still had the Pioneers, Stern Pioneers, but when all the CQC infantry died, he just cannot effectively fight up north. But yeah, he really just sort of pushed heavier south. Like, you can lose the north, and it's really not that bad, because you can't, it's hard to really exploit it yet. There's not a whole lot of flags. You can just kind of let them have a lot of dead space to get a flag or two, whatever. You can set up some decent defensive lines where the forest opens up, so to speak. But if he played heavier armor down south, who knows if he would win or not, can't predict alternate history, but it definitely would have run much better.
True, that is exactly true. But here we are in the meantime. Nice little victory over here for Gonzo, and an unfortunate defeat over here for Alpha in the meantime.
Yeah, kills at one Sturm of Iki during. Pretty good, knocking out a flat gun as well. That's pretty sturmy.
Well, and the anti-tank guns. Sophia over here. 1, 2, 3. Well, two hard targets, 2 moderately soft target, and 1 squishy target. Like, that's nothing to sneeze at.
And half as well.
True. Very, very true.
Yeah, nothing crazy from the Soviets in terms of individual kills. Losses. Barbara. The Barbarian Grill.
Yes, but that was the same.
South.
Oh, that was one down south. Okay, I was going to say, we also missed that one of these guys is missing a kill for his own troops.
Yeah, things don't add up.
Nope, they never seem to. But you know what? That's not our job. We worry about different things in that case.
Yes. We're not here to do the math.
No. We're just here to judge silently and rather loudly at certain times as well. But regardless, though, folks, that's going to do it, I think, for right now for our coverage of the monthly tournament. We will, of course, be returning to this next week. In the meantime, though, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Mangru. Take it easy.